channel. Sorry that I have missed some days, but we are going to get you back up. I've been extremely busy, and I don't know if you could tell from my eyes, but I'm extremely tired. But I felt like I had to get this done. I just woke up from a nap, but I'm still tired. I do have to work in the morning, so I'm going to read as much as I can, and then I will record another video. We did hit 500 subscribers, so I will start recording the custom videos. So, sit back, relax. I hope you all enjoy this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure y'all hit the notification bell and edit the notifications to all instead of personalized, because if it's on personalized, you're not gonna get notified when I post new content. So we're gonna start with day 13. Tired. I did a deep cleaning of my house today. I have really bad allergies, so maybe the average person, their cleaning is not as detailed as what I did. I literally have to scrub walls, scrub carpets, vacuum. I have to wash baseboards. Of course, the regular changing your sheets and pillowcases, cleaning your bed, the mattress. If y'all see me scratch my fingers a lot, I have eczema on my fingers. Oh my god. It itches so bad. We have Snow White. Long ago, there lived a kind princess named Snow White. Her wicked stepmother, the queen, feared that someday Snow White's beauty would outshine her own. So she forced the princess to dress in rags and work like a servant, but nothing could spoil Snow White's sweet nature. I love Snow White. Each day the queen consulted her magic mirror. She always asked the same question. Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest? Who is fairest? One of all. And each day the mirror replied, "You are the fairest one of all." But one morning, the mirror said that Snow White was the most beautiful woman in all the land. The queen flew into a jealous rage. Meanwhile, Snow White attended to her chores and sang a wish into the wishing well. She hoped that someday soon she would meet a prince and fall in love Little did she know that the handsome prince had overheard her song. The prince fell in love with the princess instantly. Snow White was shy at first and fled back into the castle, but as the prince sang a love song, she began to fall in love too. I was gonna say evil queen. The stepmother wasn't even ugly. That's the crazy part. We were just so jealous. The next morning, the jealous queen plotted against the princess. She ordered her royal huntsman to take Snow White far into the forest, kill her, and bring her back her heart in a box. The huntsman led the princess into the forest, but he could not bring himself to kill her. He told Snow White to hide in the forest, and he took an animal's heart back to the queen instead. Snow White wandered deep into the forest. She was scared, but some friendly animals led her to a little cottage. "Oh, it's adorable," Snow White cried. "Just like a doll's house." She tried the door, and it swung open. "Hello? May I come in?" Snow White called, but no one answered. Snow White stepped inside the cottage and saw 7 little chairs. She thought 7 little children must live there, and from the look of the table, 7 untidy little children, she said. Then Snow White held up a rather smelly sock. "We'll clean the house and surprise them," said Snow White. "Then maybe they'll let me stay." So with the help of her forest friends, Snow White dusted and cleaned the little cottage. Then she laid across 3 of the tiny beds and fell fast asleep. Just whistle while you work. Just whistle while you work. Evening came, and the owners of the cottage made their way home. There were 7 dwarfs who worked in the diamond mines, deep in the heart of the mountain, singing a jolly tune. As they marched along, they had no idea the surprise waiting for them. Hi-ho, 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 hum, hi-ho, hi-ho, it's home from work we go. As soon as they entered the cottage, they knew something wasn't quite right. Their home had been cleaned, the floor had been swept, and there was a delicious smell coming from a pot on the fire. "There's dirty work afoot," grumbled the dwarf, called Grumpy. I hope. The 7 dwarfs searched the cottage for an intruder. They reached the bedroom just as Snow White was waking up. They hid at the end of their beds and gazed at her curiously. "How do you do?" said Snow White. Then guessed each of their names from the etchings on the bed. They were called Doc, Bashful, Sleepy, Sneezy, Happy, Dopey, and Grumpy. Snow White introduced herself and told the dwarfs that the evil queen told them about the evil queen. "Please don't send me away," she said. The dwarfs felt sorry for Snow White and agreed to let her stay. She said, "How do you do what?" That evening, the cottage was filled with music and laughter. After enjoying a delicious dinner cooked by Snow White, the dwarfs sang and danced to welcome the princess in their home. Snow White was so happy that she soon forgot all about her wicked stepmother. They did a lot of yodeling and stuff. I can't do that part. The next day after the dwarfs had left for work, Snow White was visited by a disguised queen. The birds and the forest animals watched in alarm as kind-hearted Snow White invited the old woman inside the cottage for a glass of water. They knew Princess was in terrible danger, so they raced to the mines to fetch the 7 dwarfs. The queen offered Snow White the poison apple. "It's a magic wishing apple," she lied. "Now take the apple, dearie, and make a wish." Snow White took the apple and thought of the handsome prince. I wish," and she whispered. Snow White closed her eyes and took a single bite. A moment later, she fell to the floor. "Now I'll be the fairest in the land," the queen cried. Now this was ugly. As the queen left the cottage, the dwarfs arrived and chased after her. They followed her through the forest and up a mountain. Higher and higher the queen went until she came to the top of the edge of the cliff. There was nowhere else to go. Crack! A bolt of lightning struck the ledge where the evil queen stood. The ledge crumbled, and with a shriek the queen fell, never to be seen again. When the weary dwarfs returned to the cottage and found Snow White lying silent, they were heartbroken. Snow White was so beautiful that the dwarfs decided to make a bed of gold for her. Day and night, season after season, they watched over her. So I wonder how long she was asleep. I can't remember. Season after season? The handsome prince had searched far and wide for the princess he had met that fateful morning. When he came to the clearing where Snow White laid, he leaned over and kissed her. It was love's first kiss. With a soft sigh, Snow White sat up and rubbed her eyes. The prince shouted with joy and lifted her in his arms. The dwarfs danced and laughed, and the woods rang with calls from the happy forest animals. Snow White was awake. Before she left to begin her new life with the prince, Snow White kissed each of the 7 dwarfs goodbye and promised to visit them soon. Lifting her onto their horse, the prince led Snow White to his castle, where they lived happily ever after. That was day 13. Day 14. I was like, did we read Pocahontas? No, we read like a mini story. I love Pocahontas. On a London dock, settlers seeking freedom and riches prepared to board a ship bound for a new land. John Smith stood alone on the deck, eager for his next adventure. John Radcliffe, the greedy governor of the new settlement, strode on board. The journey was treacherous and lasted many months, but Radcliffe reminded the crew that the new lives waiting for them. "Don't lose heart, men," he told them. "Remember what awaits us there. Freedom, prosperity, the adventure of our lives." Say your prayers, lad. Man overboard. Far across the sea, Native American warriors led the by Chief Powhatan had returned from battle. The chief searched the gathering tribe for his beloved daughter, Pocahontas, but as usual, she was out exploring with her friends, Meeko, the raccoon, and Flit, the hummingbird. I always thought it was Flick. It's Flit. Pocahontas wanted advice about a dream she had. She went to see Grandmother Willow, a wise old tree who lived in an enchanted glade. I'm running through the woods, and then right in front of me is an arrow. It's spinning faster and faster and faster until it suddenly stops, she said. Grandmother Willow thought the dream was trying to tell Pocahontas which path in life to take. Pocahontas felt a breeze and climbed high into Grandmother Willow's branches, listened to what the wind might be telling her. Looking out over the treetops, she saw white clouds billowing in the distance. It was a ship. The ship came in even before the anchor had dropped. Smith leaped ashore. He climbed a tree to view the magnificent new land and saw Pocahontas. Their eyes met for a fleeting moment before the young woman darted away into the forest. Chief Powhatan wanted to know what the ship's arrival meant. The medicine man threw a handful of powder into the fire, and the smoke revealed warriors whose weapons shot fire and thunder. The chief sent men to observe the newcomers. Let's hope they don't intend to stay, he told his tribe. A few hours later, one of the warriors returned to the village. He had been shot in the leg by one of the intruders. Chief Powhatan was enraged. We must defend ourselves, he declared. Gather warriors from every village. These men are dangerous. These white men are dangerous. No one is to go near them. Meanwhile, Smith followed Pocahontas through the forest and caught up with her at the river. As he held out his hand, a light breeze swirled around them. Pocahontas remembered that Grandmother Willow had said, "Listen with your heart, and the spirits will guide you." Pocahontas and Smith talked and began to get to know each other. Smith told her about London while Pocahontas showed him around the new land. Suddenly, drum beats echoed through the forest. Pocahontas raced off to find out what was going on. I like the colors. Later, Pocahontas was gathering corn when Smith emerged from the forest and took her by the hand. Pocahontas asked her concerned friend not to tell anyone where she was going. Smith told Pocahontas about the settlers searching for gold. When Pocahontas told him she had never seen any, Smith realized his men would not find what they were looking for. Just then, Grandmother Willow revealed her face. Smith was startled by the enchanted tree, quickly reassuring him, and soon they were speaking like old friends. When she returned home, Pocahontas was alarmed to find warriors already for battle. She began to beg her father to talk rather than fight, but he was certain the intruders did not want to talk. But if one of them did want to talk, would you listen to him? Wouldn't you? She asked. Of course, but it's not that simple, he replied. Meanwhile, Smith arrived back at the settlement to find Ratcliffe preparing for war. Smith tried to explain that the Native Americans were friendly and he had no gold, but Ratcliffe wouldn't listen to reason. His ugly big back ass. That night, Pocahontas met Smith in the enchanted glade and asked him to speak with her father. Grandmother Willow dipped a branch into the water. "The ripples," said Pocahontas, "small at first, then look how they grow," said the tree. Smith understood and agreed to meet the chief. As Pocahontas and Smith embraced, a warrior from Pocahontas' village leaped at Smith with a dagger. Bang! A shot rang out. Smith's friend Thomas had shot the warrior. Thomas watched from his hiding place as Smith was dragged away by other members of the tribe. The warriors condemned Smith to death. Horrified, Pocahontas protested, but the chief told his daughter she had shamed him. Pocahontas was heartbroken and went to see Smith. "It would have been better if we never met," she said. "I'd rather die tomorrow than live 100 years without knowing you," he told her. Filled with despair, Pocahontas sat with Grandmother Willow. Mika handed her Smith's compass. The arrow was spinning. She knew it was a sign from her dream, but when the arrow stopped, it was pointing toward the morning light. "It's not too late, child. Let the spirit of the earth guide you," said the enchanted tree. "This must be the day. Bring out the prisoner." At sunrise, the Native Americans and the armed settlers marched toward one another. Suddenly, Pocahontas threw herself on top of Smith. "If you hurt him, you'll have to hurt me too," she cried. "Look around you. This is where the path of hatred has brought us. This is the path I choose, Father. What will yours be?" Chief Powhatan saw that Pocahontas spoke wisely. He ordered Smith to be released. She said, "I love him, Father." The warriors lowered their weapons, but Ratcliffe ordered the settlers to fire. The settlers defied him and lowered their weapons, but the enraged governor grabbed a gun and fired. Smith jumped in front of Chief Powhatan, and the bullet meant for the chief hit him instead. Disgraced, Ratcliffe was dragged back to the ship by his own men. The tribe took care of Smith, but Pocahontas knew he needed to return home to survive. "You are always welcome among our people," Chief Powhatan told Smith. Smith asked Pocahontas to go with him, but she knew her people needed her. She chose to stay. "No matter what happens, I'll always be with you, forever," she said. Pocahontas watched from the top of the cliffs as the ship set sail. When she waved goodbye, she felt the wind swirl around her, the same wind carrying Smith away, the same wind that embraced them both. I wonder to this day if she would have survived longer had she stayed with John Smith. Yeah. This is day 15. My girl Tiana. Tiana's growing experiment. Tiana sighed and hung up the phone. I've called every pepper farmer in the state of Louisiana, and none of them have what I'm looking for, she told Naveen. Tiana took a magazine off the counter and showed it to him. I read about ghost peppers in the article. I wanted to try them in my jambalaya. The problem is they're from India. No one grows them here. As Naveen went upstairs, Tiana slowly flipped through the pages of the magazine. Suddenly, something caught her eye. There, at the bottom of the credits page, was an address for one of the Indian farms the magazine writer had visited. From the article, Tiana decided to write them a letter and ask if they would be willing to sell her some seeds for peppers. A few weeks later, Tiana was cooking up a batch of gumbo when Naveen came into the restaurant and handed her an envelope. As she opened it, a small packet fell out the floor. Tiana set aside and began to read the letter aloud. Dear Princess Tiana, we have heard tales of your famous food and are honored that you would like to use the ghost peppers in your cuisine. Enclosed, please find the seeds you will need to grow them. Oh, I can't wait until her series drops. I love Tiana. Tiana couldn't wait to get started. There was just one problem. She knew how to cook a pepper, but she never grown anything before. She decided to make a stop at the library to check out a few books all about gardening. By the end of the evening, she felt ready to start her garden. The next morning, she went to the market to buy supplies. She found pots, gloves, towels, and watering can. Then she ordered dirt and fertilizer to be delivered to the restaurant. Back at the restaurant, Tiana went up to the roof deck. She was going to turn the space into her garden. Once everything she needed had been delivered, Tiana got started. Each morning before the restaurant opened, Tiana checked on her peppers. I hope I planted them correctly, she told Naveen one night. What if they don't grow? They will, said Naveen reassuringly. Just be patient. Finally, one morning, she saw a spot of green. Tiana was so excited to see her peppers start to grow. She decided to try her hand at growing other things too. A few days later, Tiana was planting her new vegetables when she heard a familiar voice. Tia, are you up here? Tiana looked up just as Charlotte opened the door to the roof. What on earth are you doing? You're completely covered in dirt. It's filthy up here. Tiana smiled at her friend. Welcome to my garden, Lottie, she said. Want to help? You want me to touch that? Asked Charlotte. There could be bugs in there. Aw, come on, Charlotte. It's just a little dirt, said Naveen with a wink. And Tiana's having fun. In fact, she's having so much fun, I'm thinking of trying it. Charlotte looked over at Naveen. You're going to get your hands all dirty? I'm getting out of here before any of the filth gets on my new dress. Just then, Louise came into the kitchen looking for a snack. Did I hear someone say garden? He asked. Can I try? Tiana smiled at the friendly alligator. Of course you can, she said. A few days later, Tiana tended to her existing plants while Naveen and Louis got busy planting their crops. But Naveen wasn't finding
gardening so easy. Fortunately, with Tiana's help, Naveen fixed his pots. Then, day after day, the trio trooped up to the roof to check on their plants. "Hey, look at that!" shouted Naveen excitedly. "Look at what?" asked Charlotte. She had come up on the roof to find her friends. "My cucumbers," said Naveen. "I did it." "All the dirt really doesn't bother you?" she asked. Naveen shrugged. "Honestly, it's kind of fun. It's messy, but look what I have to show for it." Charlotte wandered around the roof, looking at everyone's plants. "Wow, Tia," she said, "those peppers are really getting big. At least those radish do look tasty. You all seem to be having so much fun. Maybe getting a little dirty isn't as bad as all. Isn't bad at all." She paused and considered what to do next. "I'm gonna get your hands dirty, Charlotte." "Okay, I'm in," Charlotte announced a moment later. "But I want to grow something pretty, like flowers." Tiana walked over to her friend. "Come on, Lottie. We'll go to the market and find you the perfect flowers to grow." The next morning, Charlotte put on an old dress and covered in the biggest apron she could find. Tiana laughed when she saw her friend. "I think you may be a little overdressed, Lottie," she said. Charlotte shook her head. "I said I touched the dirt. I didn't say I was going to let the dirt touch me. Now come on and show me what to do." Over the next few weeks, everyone spent as much time as they could working on their plants. Naveen surveyed the roof. There were pots everywhere. "What were we going to do with all these vegetables?" he asked. Tiana smiled. "Leave it to me," she said. "Meet me back here at 5 o'clock, Monday night." Oh boy. That Monday, the friends gathered on the roof. Charlotte gasped as she looked around. "Tia," she said, "you turned all your vegetables into dinner." Tiana smiled. "I realized we had grown the perfect ingredients for a summer salad. And for anyone daring enough to try it, the first batch of the new jambalaya recipe guaranteed to set your mouth on fire." Look at that. She got the peppers to grow. This is day 16. Mulan! Long ago, the Great Wall kept China safe from invaders, but one dark night, Shan Yu and his Han army attacked the wall and burned the Chinese flag. The Chinese Imperial Guard lit fires to tell the rest of China what had happened. The Emperor decided that at least one man from every family should join the Chinese army. "One man may be the difference between victory and defeat," he said. Got some good books these days. Mulan was worried about her father. She didn't think he was fit enough to fight. Women were not allowed to be soldiers, so Mulan disguised herself as a man to take her father's place. In the dead of the night, she rode her horse, Khan, toward the Chinese army camp. By the time her family woke up, Mulan was long gone. Frightened for her safety, they prayed to the ancestors. Their prayers were answered, but instead of sending the great stone dragon, the guide, Mulan, as planned, the ancestors sent Mushu, a small dragon, and a lucky cricket named Cricky. vengeance will be mine. Mushu. Mushu and Cricky reached Mulan just outside the army camp. I have been sent here by your ancestors to guide you, roared Mushu. The glow of the campfire cast a large shadow of a tiny dragon. Mulan accepted his offer gladly. In the morning, she would report for duty. Heed my words, because if the army finds out that you're a girl, the penalty is death. Who am I? I am the guardian of lost souls. That morning, training began under the watchful eye of the Emperor's royal advisor, Shifu. Shang, the general's son, trained the new recruits, including Mulan, who was disguised as a man named Ping. As part of the training, Shang shot an arrow to the top of the tall pole. The trainees had to have 2 heavy bronze discs tied to their wrists, then had to climb the pole to retrieve the arrow. 1 for the discipline and 1 for strength, said Shang. Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. Whoa. One after the other, each recruit tried to reach the arrow, but all failed. Shang was not impressed, but Mulan decided to try one last time. She slid down the pole once again, but then she had an idea. Looping the bronze discs together, she made a brace and hoisted herself all the way to the top. Everyone cheered. We are men, we must do this for she rather. We must be swift as a raging fire. With Mulan's training going so well, Mushu began plotting to get her into battle so she could become a hero. With Cricky's help, he composed a letter ordering Shang to lead the recruits to the Tung Shao Pass. They signed it from General Li and made sure Shang saw it as soon as possible. He said, make it urgent, please. Know what I'm talking about? Led by Shang, the recruits arrived at the pass, where they were quickly attacked by Shan Yu and the Huns. As hordes of the horsemen charged toward them, an idea spurred Mulan into action. She grabbed a cannon and lit the fuse, firing directly at the mountain. Snow came crashing down and smothered the advancing Huns, including an angry Shan Yu, who just had time to slash at Mulan with his sword before he was buried in the snow. I'm hungry, y'all. The recruits celebrated, but Mulan had been hurt. As the medic dressed the wound, he discovered she was a woman, revealing her secret to everyone. Shifu charged Mulan with treason and ordered Shang to kill her. Shang raised his sword, but then threw it down. Mulan has saved his and everyone else's life. With her quick thinking, my debt is repaid, he said, then ordered the troops to move on without her. Mulan, Khan, Mushu, and Cricky were huddled together by the fire where they heard a terrible howl. It was Shang Yu. He was alive and headed toward the Emperor's palace. Mulan jumped on Khan and rode to the imperial city as quickly as possible. When she arrived, she found Shang and warned him about Shan Yu. But it was too late. The Huns had snuck into the palace and were holding the emperor hostage. Mulan came up with a plan. Bravely, she confronted Shang Yu in the palace. The pair fought furiously, ended up at the palace roof. As Shang Yu lunged at her, Mulan managed to pin his cloak to the roof. "Ready, Mushu?" she called. Quickly lit the fuse. Mushu attached to a rocket soared toward Shang Yu. The rocket tore through Shang Yu's coat and fell into the fireworks tower, causing an enormous explosion that lit up the night sky. Shang Yu had been defeated. Imagine dying by fireworks. With the city saved, the emperor approached Mulan. "I've heard a great deal about you, Mulan," he said. "You stole your father's armor, impersonated a soldier, dishonored the Chinese army, destroyed my palace, and saved us all." And then everyone's surprised emperor bowed to Mulan. Stunned, the crowd followed his example. With a little help from Mushu, Mulan had become a hero and a leader. She had brought honor to her family in her own unique way. Alright, my sunflowers, that is it for this video. We are almost halfway through our calendar. That means the new year is almost here. So I hope y'all enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit and edit that bell from Personalized to All. And we will be back 2 days, maybe 3, so we can catch up. I love you all. And I hope you enjoyed once again. And I will see you all later.